Welcome back. Now, Louis Munana, popularly known as Louis, is a jack of all trades. He's an international male model who has graced catwalks in London and the USA. Louis, who's also the founder of MTC Fashion Annual Fashion Week, is also a television producer and fashion designer. He is one of the first Namibians to be listed in the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 list. He now joins us this evening on the show. Louis, good evening and welcome to the Daily Roundup.
Oh, wow. Good evening. What an introduction. You don't even realize you do those things at some point.
Of course, and I was going to tell you to, let us know a little bit better who Louis is for those who might be living under a rock. I've mentioned quite a few things as you've said, but how would you describe yourself, Louis?
I'd like to call myself a creative entrepreneur. That's just because I don't just do one thing. I have my hands in different places. Like for example, I produce, I direct. The Waka Waka Mo TV show and airing on NBC. That's my baby as well. So, yeah, I'm in fashion, I'm in film, I'm in finance, I'm in business. So it's all these things, So the creativity is the common factor amongst all of these things. So that's why I prefer to call myself a creative entrepreneur.
That's fantastic. I think it's the first time I hear that term, a creative entrepreneur. That creativity has led you to be, on the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 list, which is such an achievement, and that was in 2019. Talk to us about that, how it came about, and what it meant for you, and if any doors opened for you after that.
Yeah, so basically you get nominated and then you get vetted because the Forbes guys receive a list full of potential listers, from across Africa. So then the vetting period is about 2 to 3 months. So they basically ask you a bunch of questions. They ask for your bank statements, your bank account, the businesses you've done. They do a deep dive into your life. They see if you're really, if the drapings match the bed set, just to make sure that you are legit, because out of all of Africa, only 30 people are going to make the list. So it's quite a process. Having been listed, I've had articles out all the way in Japan. I've had business connections across the world. I was able to sell, for example, Waka Waka Mo to air in the US, in Canada, Caribbean islands and so forth, to license it over there. Till today, there's still a network. We still stay in touch with all the other listers. They still send us updates, and there's a network that exists, basically. So whatever you want, you just say, hey, I'm a Namibian, I'm coming to the US, are there any listers? And then they'll come forth, and whatever venture it is you want to get into, they sort of facilitate that process, So it's an ongoing thing, despite it just having happened 1 year.
Yeah. Well, the saying goes, if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none, but you seem to have mastered everything just fine. Talk to us about how you juggle all of your activities, Louis.
An army. You need an army. So I have a team, a very strong one. I would be lying if I said I did everything myself. That's not true. From having an executive assistant, so basically each and every project, there's somebody that sort of manages it with me. That is the direct contact. For example, when it comes to the fashion part, there's always someone that manages the studio, that manages the orders, that ensures that I actually design and finish the designs and submit the designs for them to be stitched and sold, and I make sure I have time for clients. When it comes to TV, for example, I have line producers, line directors to make sure that I'm on schedule, that I'm producing properly, and so forth. So an army is definitely needed because you cannot do this on your own. The one thing I do know that I do on my own is come up with the concept, come up with the ideas, come up with okay, here's what we're going to do. Now it's time to execute, and then the army comes into play.
Yeah. Well, as the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to go with others. So I guess you're living that. You recently launched your website in New York City. Talk to us about the reason why you decided to do it all the way in New York.
I'm very dramatic. I won't even lie to you. I just wanted to have something special. People have launched their websites locally, but what would make mine different? What would make mine stand out? And also the fact that I was in New York, I was able to capture the attention of not only Namibians but other people from other countries. Other African countries. I went there surprisingly. I still had fans from my day in Big Brother Africa. So it's just that thing. There's this thing where people were writing, okay, Louis Munana from Namibia, who was on Big Brother Africa, or who's a model, who's this and this and this, that just launched his website all the way from New York. So that's basically that's the spark that needed to ignite in order to launch the website, and it has worked tremendously.
Well, you're doing fantastic, Louis. The year is, well underway. What are your plans for 2023 as we round off our discussion?
There's something huge coming. A few people have sort of picked it up already, but nobody has confirmed. So, there are things coming. Let's say this one is going to be another game changer. It's going to be another big one. I'll tell you over coffee on a one-on-one basis, but you have to promise not to tell anyone. But yeah, you'll know very soon.
I promise my lips will be sealed. Louis, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was lovely speaking to you, and all the best with your endeavors for the year.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
That was Louis Munana, popularly known as Louis, speaking to us there on the line. We'll be right back. Stay with us.